Mae Govannen, my Elven brothers and sisters. Today I'd like to continue kind of a part 2, what I was talking about with the new earth. And this one is again in reference to a lot of the posting I'm seeing about the Age of Aquarius. First of all, I'd like to say, if this is the Age of Aquarius for you, I'm happy for you. That's great. But I'm going to kind of start this little discussion off with a negative, and then I'd like to turn right around and do a positive. All right? This is also because I wanted to give you something to start the new year off with hope about finding your elven nature, realizing who you are. Because as you know, the series of videos that I'm doing here are on our elven nature, on our true nature, on discovering who we are and reawakening to that elven nature again. Tolkien talked about it, many other cultures throughout history have talked about it, of who we truly are. Now, so I'm going to start off with a negative, and then I'll immediately go to a positive, so bear with me if you would. At least from my perspective, and it's from my watching throughout so much as a historian, looking over Earth's history and living some of it myself. I've traveled around the world, and I've come to the conclusion, and it's a good one for me. Maybe not for you, but for me. This is not the Age of Aquarius, it's not the Age of Pisces, it's not the Age of Capricorn, but it is certainly not the Age of Aquarius on a global level. It can be the Age of Aquarius for you, and that's what's most important. Supposedly about every 1250 years, the world moves on into the next age, where the sun moves into the next constellation and so forth with the zodiac. All right, but if you think about it, for billions of years, the sun has been doing that over and over and over again. So in theory, it's been the Age of Aquarius over and over and over again, the Age of Pisces. And I know that some of you are going to come back and go, well, over the years, as through the Earth's tilt and through it going through the galaxy on its cosmic here, the zodiac and stuff changes. Okay, well, if that's the case, then the zodiac is already different from what it was 2,000 years ago when they started with astrology and so forth, and further back than that, of course, as well. So it doesn't really matter whether it's, whether one wants to think it's the Age of Aquarius or whatever the case may be. It's what is important to you. Now, I get the postings have been full of hope and inspiration, and that's a good thing. I love seeing posts that inspire people to go forward, go further, and to look into who you are and to look into your nature. But then there comes a time when we don't need the doctrine anymore. We don't need the conceptual thinking, so to speaking. It's time for us to move beyond that. It has been for thousands of years. It is today. And with faith will be for thousands of years from now. It is always the Age of Aquarius for you. One of the highlights that people mention about this being the Age of Aquarius is it's now the time of individuality, the time of the individual. It has never been a time when it wasn't for the individual. It has always been for you. It's always your moment. It's always your time to remember who you are and to be able to go forward. There's so much discussion about, again, the hope for salvation, and people are looking for it from the Age of Aquarius. They're looking for messages from the stars. They're looking for messages from the inner earth. If those give you hope, if they give you inspiration, I'm happy for you, and that's great. And they all have a purpose, but nothing's really changed. Only thing that needs to change is you. Is who you are, and to realize who you are. There's an old phrase in Zen Buddhism, and for all of you know, I'm an Elven Zen Buddhist, and it is not a religion, it is not even a philosophy, it is a discipline about being able to, a technique for looking within ourselves and remembering who we are. Well, there's an old phrase in Zen Buddhism, it's finger pointing at the moon. All right, finger pointing at the moon. For a long time, I didn't understand what that truly meant. I knew that by Zen discipline, that the moon represents a symbol, and the symbol is the symbol of truth. And us pointing at the moon, it means for us to look towards the truth. And unfortunately, so many people today don't do that. They don't look at truth. They look at its reflection, they look at its shadow, but they don't look at the truth. And so what does Zen mean by finger pointing at the moon? Finger pointing, well, that means to look towards something. All right. Finger simply represents sutras, doctrines, dogma, religions, philosophies, teachings, words, text. That's what it represents. And what was originally intended was for that to inspire us to look. The Zen masters of old, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, as they do today, never cared for words, because in the long run, words can confuse us and take us away from the truth. But they knew out of compassion it was going to be very difficult to describe to people how to learn to look within themselves without words. So they said, okay, we're going to give you some words here, basically techniques for learning how to look towards the moon. And that was enclosed in the teachings and so forth. But they knew that the danger was that people would look at the words and they would not look at the moon. Like so many religions on this world, so many philosophies and teachings and belief systems, people get stuck on the finger, and they look at the finger as the truth. The words are the truth. The religions are the truth. The philosophies are the truth. And they get stuck on the finger instead of looking at the moon. The finger was simply to point the way, and then we're supposed to move on and look at the truth. And unfortunately, so many do not do that to this day. They get stuck in hearing the tales from the stars, channeling from the stars, which if that works for you, that's great. Or channeling from underground or so forth. Those all have a purpose: to inspire us with hope, to encourage us to look further. But we're not supposed to stay with any of them. In Zen, it teaches us as elves, we are supposed to move beyond the words, because words will never give us the truth. The truth is beyond words. And there's only one way to do this, is to go within. The only place you will find the truth in the long run is to turn within yourself, quiet the mind, and live in the now. And that's what Zen can teach you to do. Zen simply means meditation. Okay, a form of meditation to quiet the mind and begin to look at your own soul, at your own spirit. As I said before, there's 7.5 billion humans on this planet. So there's at least 7.5 billion ways to get to remembering who you are. And in the end, it can only be done however you want to do that, through turning within, looking into your own soul and seeing who you truly are. That's what enlightenment means. To enlighten, to awaken, means to simply remember who you are, to see your true nature. And for us, we believe it to be an elven nature, to heal this world, to heal ourselves, and to co-create with Eru, with God, to create new beauty. And if you want to call this the Age of Aquarius and the time of individual, let it be the Age of Aquarius for you. For you, not on a global level, but it's always been time for you to take the moment and look within and figure out who you are. Okay, so the words, the channelings, the religions, the philosophies were never meant to be relied upon forever. There comes a time when we can step beyond that. No religion or philosophy, channeling or otherwise, will in the end lead you home. All right, you must seek the path for yourself. And this is done through the silence of the mind, in time realizing the oneness of everything. The oneness of everything. We are all one. In Elven, we say Ilya Quain. And that just simply means all is one. There is only one mind. And you are a manifestation of that. What an amazing thing to think about. That you are a manifestation of the one mind. You are the light. You seek for the light outside of yourself. You look to the stars, or you look to under the earth, or you find some religious figure or whatever, or new religion or new philosophy. And that's fine if it's giving you inspiration. But what it's supposed to do is simply be a finger pointing the way, and eventually you move past the finger and you realize, above all else, the light is you. The light is within you. You are the light. You don't have to look anywhere else for that light. It always is the Age of Aquarius for you as an individual. All right? I hope that helps, and everyone have a most blessed and elven day. Namaste.